Hey guys, welcome back. Day 16, and today we're going to be talking about realistic goals and when to move up levels. And this is a very important topic because what I find, and a lot of people, what they do is, let's say they go on a winning streak and start making money, and they think they're ready to take on the next level, and they go up there not using a proper bankroll, not using the strategy outlined in this course, and then all of a sudden they find themselves broke and having to start over from scratch. And that's why if you follow this course the way it's done here with the bankroll and the steps and the strategies, you should never ever go broke ever again. But that's up to you. Obviously, if you don't follow it, then that you might wind up like 90% of the other poker players. But this is where they try to move up too fast because they're setting unrealistic goals. Okay. Before I get into that, let's recap what we talked about yesterday. We were talking about keeping records. So basically, I don't know if you had a chance to go sign up for Poker Office, the Office software there. It gives you really detailed statistics on your play, on your it breaks down your hands, your opponent's hands, got an odds calculator. It's a pretty cool tool for you to go. So you can go check that out there, and make sure by yesterday you should be able to now calculate your sit and go rate. And then I mentioned that if you want to increase that rate, then you can probably multi-table at the same time, meaning play more games than just one at a time, and you could see your hourly rate go up there. So basically, again, we're talking about goals and moving up levels, and the best way to know when you're ready to move up levels is to let your bankroll let your bankroll let you know. And the easy way is if you're sticking to the bankroll management that we talked about in the lesson 1, is that you're always only going to be using 2% of your bankroll. So let's say you start out with $1,000 bankroll, you start playing the $20 sit and goes, you can build that up to, let's say, $1,500. Well, at that point, you take your $1,500, you divide it by 50, and now your new level is actually $30 sit and goes. So you try the $30 sit and goes. Let's say you start losing, not a big deal. As soon as you go back under the 1,500, you drop back to your 20. A lot of people feel that if they drop back levels, then they're failing, but you're really not. You're just getting yourself ready for the next level, for the next jump. So what happens is go back to the 20s that you knew you were beating, and get back to the 1,500, and then you can play the 30s again. Eventually, you'll break through that 30 level, and then you'll move up to the 50s, and you can move up to the 100 if that's what your goal is. But you need to take these steps, and if your bankroll is telling you that you need to drop back the levels, then you need to do that as well. So far too often I hear about people that what they'll do is they go on a winning streak, let's say at 20 sit and goes, and they, I don't know, win 10 in a row or make themselves $200 in the space of a week, and then they turn around and go play the 50s. Well, they lose 4 in a row, and they just wipe their whole bankroll out playing at the 50s when realistically their bankroll wasn't ready for that level there. So if you stick to those things, you're virtually eliminating the possibility of going broke. If you don't, then you might wind up like the rest of the players. So you want to do that, and then also let's set some realistic poker goals. I get people come to me all the time. They're like, Sean, show me how I want to make $100 a day, which is like $3,000 a month. Show me how to do that. And then I'll ask them, well, what levels are you playing? They're like, well, I'm playing $5 sit and goes. Well, I go, is it possible to make $3,000 playing $5 sit and goes each month? Yes, it is, but you're gonna have to play like 2,000 of them. I don't know anyone apart from the real grinders here that are putting in 14, 16-hour days just playing 16 tables at a time that actually can do that. So that's not realistic. That's not a realistic goal. So what you want to do is sort of set what's realistic. So if you're playing $10 sit and goes, then maybe your goal is to make an extra $50 a week, or make enough that month to pay off your phone and electric bill or something like that. So if those are your kind of goals, and then you want to build your bankroll and stuff like that, until you get to a point where you're actually comfortable and happy with the amount of money you're making, I wouldn't suggest taking any out until you're at the point where you feel like, okay, this is the level I'm very comfortable at. I want to make a decent living. I'm making several $100 a week, and I'm happy at this level. I'm going to start taking that out every couple weeks or every month or what have you. So make sure you're setting realistic goals, and to do that, you can base that off your sit and go rate. So it's very, very easy. So once you've established your sit and go rate, let's say it's a $5, you have a $5 positive sit and go rate. Well, then if you want to make $500 this month, then you need to play 100 sit and goes, right? 100 times your $5 will give you $500. You take your 100 sit and goes, you divide it by 30. That means you'd have to play 3 sit and goes a day. It's not that bad when you break it down. So do that exercise and figure out what your goal is and make sure it's realistic. And as you move up levels, you can increase what you want your goal to be, and eventually you'll hit a sweet spot where you're very comfortable making, a couple thousand a month or what have you. So that's it for there. The homework, basically establish your levels based on your bankrolls. This kind of goes back to the beginning where we talked about the bankroll. Make sure you're playing at the levels that are comfortable for your bankroll. You don't want to be putting in more than 2% on any given sit and go. Okay. Calculate your sit and go rate. We talked about in the last one, so you should easily do that. Take your profit, the amount of money you've made, divide by the amount of sit and goes you played, and that should be your sit and go rate. And then make sure you set realistic poker goals. That's going to be your goals for today. Tomorrow's lesson, it's the final one. We're going to talk about some additional training and advanced and personalized training. So you're going to want to stick around for that one. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.